When artificial intelligence becomes the baseline, will we even know what reality is AInymore? At Black Hat USA 2025, it became clear that artificial intelligence, AI, is no longer a novelty in security. It's the baseline. Out of more than 60 vendor announcements in the past month, the overwhelming majority led with AI-powered, agentic AI, or autonomous SOC. The novelty has worn off. We've reached the lowest common denominator stage, where the mere presence of AI is assumed. It's the table stakes of our industry narrative, not the differentiator. And just like in my earlier musings on virtual reality, when the extraordinary becomes commodity, the real value shifts somewhere else, to the premium layer that's harder to fake and harder to deliver. The question is, when the baseline itself is built on opaque models, blurred decision pathways, and marketing noise, will we even know what reality is? And if we can't clearly define it, how can we possibly measure success? Model poisoning, in code and in conversation. In the Black Hat USA 2225 Lock Note session, with Jeff Moss, founder, Black Hat, and Dave Kahn, Daniel Cuthbert, Global Head of Security Research, Santander, Heather Adkins, Security Engineering, Google, Anchal Gupta, Chief Security Officer, Adobe, Jason Haddix, CEO, Hacker and Trainer, Arcanum Information Security, among other things. The panel talked about poisoning the model in the technical sense, introducing bad data into AI training pipelines. But there's a parallel here in our industry discourse. We can poison our collective model of reality when we focus on the wrong problems with the wrong solutions. When we implement AI for scale and speed without asking whether we're solving meaningful challenges or just ticking the AI inside checkbox, we set the floor too low. At that point, the lowest common denominator becomes the industry's operational standard, and attackers, regulators, and customers will all judge us by that bar. When automation eats the human layer, one of the week's unspoken tensions is whether the drive for scale and speed will ultimately erase the human role. Autonomous SOC agents, AI co-pilots adjusting zero-trust policies on the fly, detection pipelines without human review. These are pitched as efficiency wins. But if AI takes over decision-making without oversight, we risk not only operational collapse when the model fails, but legal consequences for negligence. You can't claim plausible deniability when you've intentionally let the system run without guardrails. As Jennifer Granick reminded us, more directly Marco Ciappelli, when they discussed her keynote prior to the event during an ITSP Magazine On Location podcast, we also face a transparency problem. If we can't look back and see how a system arrived at a conclusion, if it's a black box even to its owner, then neither security teams nor courts can reliably defend its actions. The game of Tetris. Mikko Hyppänen's opening keynote gave us the perfect metaphor. Security is like Tetris. Successes disappear quietly. Failures stack up for everyone to see. Bring in the ever-present AI tech stack, and that's even more dangerous. A human analyst might make an error that affects a single case. An autonomous system, once poisoned or miscalibrated, can make thousands of bad calls at machine speed. The stack builds fast, and if you don't have the ability to trace, explain, and reverse those calls, you're playing a potentially unwinnable game with serious consequences, not just for the organization, but perhaps for the executives, including the CISOs, who made the decision to cut entry-level roles and functions in favor of the cheaper alternative, AI. As Granick underscored, without transparency and governance, you may not just lose control of your security reality. You could also face legal and regulatory scrutiny for letting the black box take over. Reality. Can it be redefined and successfully measured? Here's the uncomfortable truth. In the endless AI-saturated market, reality is whatever the model says it is, unless we make a deliberate effort to challenge that. Defining success means knowing exactly what problem we're trying to solve. Don't be fooled by what the model tells us success is or should look like. It could be tricking us, setting measurable, verifiable outcomes, building systems, human and machine, that can explain their reasoning, maintaining the ability to audit the past so we can learn from it. Measuring success means capturing metrics that reflect business and mission outcomes, not just technical performance, and not just towing the line of the AI models. Testing the model's accuracy and its governance under real-world conditions, comparing results against human judgment, not in place of it, verifying that we aren't being misguided by the model along the way, breaking out of the lowest common denominator trap. From the lock note to Granick's call for legal awareness, from the CISO conversations Marco and I had in the hallways, to the outlier vendor announcements that weren't about AI at all, the message is clear. Transparency is non-negotiable. We must be able to see how we got to a decision, not just the output. Governance beats gimmicks. Agentic AI without guardrails isn't innovation, it's liability at scale. Humans remain essential. Speed and scale mean nothing if we strip away adaptability, creativity, and ethical judgment. Value is proven, not proclaimed. The vendors who will stand out are those who can tie their technology directly to program goals, provide measurable impact, and acknowledge their own limitations. The new reality is this: AI has taken over the headlines and the product sheets. That's no longer impressive in itself. What matters now, and what will command a premium, is the ability to define what success actually looks like, measure it honestly, and prove that the systems we trust to protect us are not just fast and scalable, but accurate, explainable, and worthy of that trust. If we can't do that, we won't just lose track of reality. We'll stop recognizing it altogether.